What I think my emotional response to my first time will be one of complete and total connection with my husband or committed life partner.
Because I did it really to piss off my parents and to rebel, I think that um, it was like it was kind of tormenting almost, like that I had done something and I didn't do something out of love like you were supposed to. So it was really hurtful more than anything, I think.
Even from the beginning, I viewed sex as something that was just fun to do. I didn't see it as a means of attachment, though it certainly can be. Um, but really, I mean, it was just something to do that was enjoyable. There are other ways of showing someone you love them. Sex has never really been that to me.
We went to band practice afterwards and got some food with some friends. And I met one of his friends, and his friend was like, wow, that friend of yours is really stuck up afterwards. And he was like, yeah, I just kind of banged her for the first time, so I think she's kind of like withdrawn and quiet.
It was this real whirlwind of conflicting emotions of vulnerability, but yet feeling like I had just accomplished something that, I had been waiting my whole life to be held like that by another man, and for much of my life thinking that I'd never get to experience that. So it was very confusing.
I think I did something ridiculous like cry.
It became this really, really confusing issue because then it was right at the time that I thought that all these weird feelings that I was having was because I was gay, and so that just kind of sealed the deal and was like, yeah, I really like girls, and what does that mean? So it wasn't just I had sex for the first time, it was I had sex for the first time and then all this other stuff that I had to deal with. So emotionally, right after, it was just really confusing, and then it became even more confusing.
I was happy I did it. I don't know.
I should have lost my virginity a lot sooner. I had some social, or some of our social standards influencing me that prevented me from losing my virginity earlier, like it was going to be a much bigger thing. And when I lost it, I was like, this is it? Dang, I could have been doing this for a while. So I kind of regret that.
Anything. It wasn't a horrible, like, it wasn't like I hadn't thought it through. It wasn't like it was like forced on me. It wasn't like I was pressured into it. I feel pretty comfortable with that. If I could go back, I'd probably change some of the stuff about it, but given what I knew at the time, it seems like a reasonable decision. I don't feel like I was doing it out of some sort of true love or some bullshit, so.
The one stipulation I had for my first time was that it would be a good story, and I think I definitely met that. So I'm definitely happy with how it went.
I wouldn't change it at all because I think that 14 is really young to have sex for the first time, but it was really kind of the right time for me, and so no, I wouldn't change anything about it.
I definitely would have waited longer. I think that if I had been more versed on what foreplay was and what the guy was supposed to do and things like that, I think I would have waited to have sex. I would have just enjoyed the foreplay and enjoyed what was happening there, and probably I think I would have preferred to have sex around like 19, 18, 19, something like that.
If I could live that day again, would I have done it differently? Maybe. I don't know. I think ideally I would have liked to change some other circumstances about my life before that, and then my first time wouldn't have looked like that. But, again, I try not to have regrets about it, and it is what it is, it happened, and you just move on from there.
Not really. I think that people put way too much weight on it. I remember after I'd had sex with a guy, and this was like a couple of weeks into us messing around, but he said something about, well, I'm always going to be important to you because I'll be your first time. Like I'll always hold like this special rank or something. And I remember thinking even at the time, I was like, bullshit. It's sex. It's cool. It's fun. but it's not that big a deal.
I didn't really feel like it was that big of a deal. Like, I know society makes a big deal about being virginal, and like religion makes a big deal about being virginal, but I never really felt like any sort of pressure or obligation to save myself. I just felt like, when I was ready, it would happen, and it did.
Very significant to me because it confirmed in my mind that I really was gay. I was turned on by this. I enjoyed it.
But I think at the time I definitely I felt like it was significant in some way. Not in this, and I mean, I waited until there was somebody that I really felt strongly about and who I knew felt strongly about me. And
It doesn't really seem that significant now. It doesn't seem like, I think it doesn't seem significant because it wasn't special. It wasn't with somebody that I really even cared about. It was just to rebel. And I think that that makes it not so great.
Lose it when you're ready, and as soon as you can. Sex is a lot of fun, and the more time you're not having sex, you're missing out on doing that. Now, granted, sex is not the end all to physical experience. There are in fact other things that aren't sex that feel just as good, if not better, to a lot of people. Do those. Just don't view sex as this life-changing thing. It's really not. Loving another human being, connecting with another human being, that is a life-changing thing, but you don't need sex to do it.
I'm fantastic, and I'm going to be a virgin because I'm fantastic, and I'm definitely worth the wait.
Well, right afterward, my parents were home, and right afterward, my mom was knocking at the door to find out why the lights were out.
Well, about my first time, it didn't work. It was like,
And then my time with the guy was on a boat, at sunset with music. It was perfect. I mean, even though I was sleeping with a guy, that time I did use protection, by the way. So I mean, other than the fact that I was sleeping with a guy and I didn't really want to, it was perfect. Other than that, it would have been perfect for a straight girl. So.
On campus at Missouri State, there's the library, and everyone goes by there, and then there's the bell tower, where the time is chimed out hourly. That's also known as the Carillon Tower, and the boy I was dating at the time had a key to the Carillon Tower, so we're up there one night, and we're just messing around, doing whatever. And he's like, do you want to do it up here? And I said, yes. So 15 minutes later, we're buck naked in the Carillon Tower going at it. And that was my first time.